Welcome, my friends. This is Double back with you. Today on Mail Day, we'll show you what I picked up in the last couple weeks and a good story how I got this stack right here. First we'll go what I picked up. I picked up Tony Perez. Picking a lot of CSG up. The cards are just as nice and cost less than PSA, and SGC. So, I mean, it's a Tony Perez 73, part of my Big Red Machine collection I'm putting together. Near Mint 7. I got a Pete Rose. First time I ever seen this card. I saw it and I had to have it. It's a Decker Edge 1969 Topps. You know I like my Pete. Sandy Koufax 62. 2.5. 67 Roger Maris. It's 2.5. You know, these are not pricey cards, and I got a great deal on them. Got them for cheaper than I could actually grade them, so why not? I got a Checklist 69. Got Mickey Mantle on it. Anything with a Mick, near Mint 7, and Checklists are hard to come by. 75, Gary Carter rookie card, 6.5. Picked up me a Don Drysdale, 1960, 6.5. And this is Keith Hernandez. Not his number. He was retired with the New York Mets, but he's borderline Hall of Fame. A great player, a player you wanted on your team. He done all the little things. 75 Topps. It's a near Mint 7. Then I added to my rookie collection 63 Topps. Gaylord Perry, the main one on there. So then I'll tell you a little story about this. If you've been following my channel, you know I hurt my back a month ago or so and couldn't get around. I had a friend of mine call me and he says, I need a favor. I said, as long as it don't involve stairs, I'll do it for you. He said, well, I got a friend that his parents was killed in a drunk driving. Both of them was, and they was in their 70s. And he said he's in the military, stationed overseas, and he come home for the funeral, had to go back, and now he's come back to try to settle the estate. So he says, he got some baseball cards he wants you to look at and see what they're worth and what we can do with them. I said, okay. I said, but you had to come pick me up. I can't drive. So he come over and helped me get in the car. We drove down there and we pulled into a house. I said, I know this house. This was a house, the older man run a dump truck company. He hauled sand and gravel to us to some of our jobs, and known him for 30 years. And I've never met his son. His son was 5 years old. I might have met him, but I didn't remember him. Then when I finally met him at the house, the son, I recognized him because I went to the funeral. And it never dawned on me, until then I put two and two together. He said, he started talking. And he said, my dad's got a whole upstairs full of baseball cards. He said, would you let me know if you're interested or what I can do with them? I said, sure. He says, well, I tell you what. He said, before we even look at it, if you give me $1,000, you can have all the cards. I said, I hate doing that because it might not be $1,000 worth there, or it might be way more than $1,000. So he said, I told him, we'll just play it by ear and look at it. And he said, okay. So we went up there in the first bed, upstairs, which it took both of them to get me up the stairs because it was sheer agony at the time. We walked into a bedroom, and sure enough, it was all junk wax from 87 to 94. I mean, it was a lot of them, a lot of open boxes, a lot of sealed boxes. And I told him, this is a lot more trouble than, I'm really want to do. Because right now I can't move them, and I ain't got that much room to store that many boxes. I mean, it was a full bedroom full of 5,000 count boxes and 3,000 count boxes, unopened boxes. He said, well, okay. He says, I got this other room. He said, I ain't been in yet. I just looked up here and saw this room was open, looked in it, and didn't pay much attention. He went to open the door and it was locked. He says, well, let me go find a key. I guess he went downstairs and he found it somewhere. And it had it was a reinforced steel door with the walls around it reinforced. I went, wow, man must really wanted to keep it private. It had 3 locks on it. We opened it up and I walked in, and you would not believe this. There was boxes from 65 to today, unopened. And there were sets made up from 1952 till today in there. The only one that was missing in there was the junk whack era. I guess he knew that and he separated that out. But I mean, there's 4 and 5 boxes. I saw a box of 65 unopened tops all the way up. Then I went over and opened some sets up, and he had 3 complete sets of 1952 tops all the way up to today. Factory sets, put sets. I knew the guy was into baseball because I've talked to the older man, but we never discussed too much about cards because he was more of a friend of my dad, the company I work for. And he says, well, will you give me $1,000 for all this? I said, man, I told him, I don't have the money to buy this room. I said, that other room, I wouldn't give you $1,000 for. This room, I couldn't put a price on it. He said, what do you mean? He said, don't be joking with me now. I just want to get rid of this. I got to be back in Germany in 2 days on leave. And I said, I thought, I don't even know where to begin to price some of this stuff. I've never seen it. He said, you're joking. I said, no, I'm dead serious. He said, what can I do? I said, well, there's a guy that I met last year that bought my 52 Mantle rookie. I said, let me call him. So I called him and was explaining to him, and I had some cards, and I was FaceTiming him. And if you ever met this guy, when the first time I met him, I thought he was Shaquille O'Neal. He looks just like him. And when we first met, he said, I'm not Shaq. I'm about 2 inches shorter than he is. And it was a good joke. And I FaceTimed him and I showed him. I said, hey, I got a whole bunch of cards I want to show you. You might be interested in. So I took him into the junk wax room, and he said, I know you didn't call me about this crap. I said, no, but I'll show you what I did call you about. And I was showing him with the phone, everything in there. And he says, is this a joke? And I said, no, it's real. And this was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He said, I will be there in the morning. I said, cool. So he got back there, and they went upstairs. This time I stayed downstairs. I wasn't going back up them stairs. And then went to the bank, and they started discussing price. That's when I stepped out. It was none of my business. And they made a deal. And 2 Wells Fargo trucks came and picked up that room. That's how much stuff was in there. So, he bought both rooms, and he said, hey, he said, do this. I'm going to give you all that junk wax. You can have that junk wax. I said, I appreciate it. You know, he said, pick out you some cards. And these were sitting over to the side. I guess some of the last cards he bought before he passed away. I don't know why. Or they were sitting to the side. He looked at them. He said, I know you like a lot of these players. You just take this. I said, cool. And then when we was leaving the bank, he handed me a check for a finder's fee, and I didn't even look at it at the time, and I wasn't expecting nothing. I was just doing a favor for a friend. And then the other guy come out, and the guy that owned it, he says, why didn't you take me on my offer to sell it for all for $1,000? I said, I tell you what my dad told me. He says, building your name and your credibility and your reputation takes a lifetime. You can lose it in 5 minutes. If I would have messed you over that bad, how would you have felt? So he thanked me and everything, and then his father-in-law, he called his father-in-law and told him to go by the house that his wife and him looked at when they was here on leave, because he's got 26 years in. He's going to probably serve 4 more, but they was thinking about getting out. But he told his father-in-law to buy it and his mother-in-law to furnish the house. So when he brought his wife back, they just have somewhere to go. He says, I'm not telling my wife nothing. He said, I'm just telling her I'm getting out. We're going home. So that was a pretty good story there. But here's the cards. This is what I was given. 61 Topps pitching leaders. The biggest one on here is Warren Spahn that I know of. I don't know if any of y'all know these other ones. There's the back of it. There's the Thurman Munson rookie card, 2.5. 61 Topps checklist. I always like checklist. 61 Topps. This is from 507 to 587. This is 430 to 506. This is the 65 Steve Carlton rookie. It's an old one. 70 from SGC. Mr. Steve Carlton, big lefty. This is a Dave Winfield rookie. It's a 6. Reggie Jackson rookie card is a 4. Like I say, none of these cards are really great, but except for a couple of them here, the Carlton and then this one. I've never owned a Nolan Ryan rookie card. It's a 2, but I'm tickled to death with it. You know, the guy that bought all this stuff don't deal in low-end stuff, and he just gave me a handful. He gave me a bunch of other ones, too. I'm not going to show. They just commons, cards that the guy had laying around and he didn't want. 78 Pete Rose, near mint 7. And this, Pete Rose 79, 8. None of this was really worth anything, so he gave me a lot of those. I just threw these in because I love Pete Rose. 55 Topps, Ted Williams, 1.5, but it's a 55 Topps Ted Williams to me. And Dave Concepcion, 78, near mint 9. And 77 Dave Concepcion, 9. That's some of the other junk ones, but, big red machine, I had to show you. And here's my other big one, Fergie Jenkins rookie card. It's a 5, 66. But, like I say, he probably gave me 100 graded cards and the whole room. I had to go rent a locker space to put it in. And where did I put the good cards I was going to show? Here they are. This is what I picked up yesterday at my local card shop. 55 Bowman, Al Kaline. Show them at a time here. Card 23, super nice card. A Willie Mays, 55 Bowman. Some nice cards for me. And Hammer and Hank, 55 Bowman. It's a little rough, but little corners and all, but it go good with my collection. There we go. And I won't bore you with showing you the junk wax. It's just boxes and boxes and a 5,000 count. And I've not even gone through yet. I have not started. My wife will scold me for saying ain't. She's a school teacher, but that's what I've picked up in the last month or so since the last one. And but let me know in the comments where we go what you thought. If any, like I say, most of these are low end. Most people won't even mess with them. But I like them. That's what my collection is. But there's the story I wanted to tell you. And they've asked me not to show pictures of the other stuff, the guy that bought it and all. So I took a few, but then I deleted them because he asked me not to. And he likes to remain anonymous. And he said he made his money in a tech company back in the 90s. He must got a lot. Don't know what the final deal, what they settled it on. Like I say, it was none of my business. I didn't ask. So that'll bring us to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed my story. Like I say, it was something, a once in a lifetime thing to see of a collection. Because he told me his dad started collecting in 1965. So, and I believe it because he had unopened boxes. I don't even know where you would begin to price stuff like that. But leave me a description below in the comments. And if you would, give me a thumbs up. That helps. I'm having trouble getting my channel monetized with them. And I ain't going to make much, but, just something to say, hey, I'm making money off videos. I don't expect, to make very much, but don't care. I do this for a hobby. So, my friends, I'll be signing off today with be safe out there. God be with you and your family. This is Double. I'm out.